Yeah. Mr. Vine. Sweatbox. Let's go. We celebrating on this one, baby.
What up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Vaughn. Mr. Vaughn's channel, Sweatbox. And we active, baby. Content creator extraordinaire, Mr. Vaughn. And I'm here today. We talking politics, but we talking the good kind of politics. We talking Bernie Sanders politics. That's right. Bernie Sanders was just recently on CNN. He had a town hall hosted by Chris Cuomo, who, if you ask me, he does an okay job. I'm not a super huge fan of Cuomo, but he does an okay job sometimes. Sometimes he holds these guys really accountable. All the time he just lets them slide. That's because he's just toeing that company line of CNN of, hey, don't rock the boat too much, especially when you're talking to these politicians, because we want them to come back. We don't want to lose access to them, so don't piss them off. But sometimes he holds them accountable. But the discussion of the town hall was a lot of talking Trump's policies, how Bernie feels about Trump since the election, yada, yada, yada. Obviously asking if he's going to run again in 2020. I don't know. I don't like these town hall formats on cable news because they're so contrived and staged, and I just don't like it. You don't get any real dialogue between, in this case, Bernie Sanders and the people he's talking to who are asking the questions. The questions are all pre-screened. The people who ask the questions are all pre-screened. And the answers, when it's time to give answers, he's only given like 45 seconds to a minute to answer each question. And even if you want to have a real exchange and this is the thing. In order to get, when you have somebody who you don't agree with and who doesn't agree with you, the best thing is to have a dialogue, to have an exchange of ideas, an exchange of questions, so there can be some understanding and maybe a middle ground is met. That's, in its essence, that's what democracy is supposed to be. But you're not going to get that when you have an hour-long TV show with commercial breaks in it, so it's really only like 45 minutes. You get short, contrived answers that turn out to be talking points and sound bites. That's what CNN wants, because they're only interested in ratings. But for us real people who want to see problems solved and want to see a real dialogue between people who have a disagreement, you're not going to get that on a town hall on CNN. You're just not going to get it. Now, on the other hand, I love it because I love Bernie Sanders. You guys know I'm a huge Bernie Sanders supporter. I did a video for him during his presidential campaign using some of my music. Check it out. It's on the channel. But I love Bernie Sanders and I love his ideas. He's a very progressive dude, very liberal, and his ideas have been pretty much consistent for 30 years, and I love that. I love that he held and he's going to continue to hold Trump accountable. He called Trump a pathological liar, which is true. That's exactly what Trump is. Trump is a pathological liar. And Cuomo tried to push back on that. It's like, hey, he's the president now. Do you feel comfortable saying that? Absolutely. Just because he's the president doesn't change the fact that he's a pathological liar. And the fact that Cuomo tried to push back on that and tried to, say, he's lied to you, Cuomo. In interviews you've done with Trump, he's lied to you. So I don't know why you're acting like this is some breaking news that Trump's a pathological liar. Bernie's going to hold him accountable. Bernie was also very quick to say any hatred, bigotry, racist rhetoric that Trump is going to spew, he's not going to tolerate that, and he'll be there to confront him and to oppose him anytime he does that. So I like to hear that. Bernie, he's a fighter, man. He's going to stand up for people like us, for people like us. He's always going to stand up for that. So I like that. I'm not a huge fan of CNN in general because of how they do things. There are people on CNN that I like. I like Van Jones a lot. I like Angela Rye. Angela Rye. I like her a lot. I like how she does her thing. She's a monster. I love her. She's a beast. Every once in a while, her and Van Jones, they'll get to speak their mind, and so I like that. But back to the town hall itself. There was a question. Bernie had an exchange with a small business owner who was just very upset with the Obama administration and Bernie Sanders and liberals and stuff like that, and the Democratic Party, because he felt like they were against small business owners, which we all know is not true. That was ridiculous to even say that. But again, this comes back to my problem with the whole town hall format. There could have been a real dialogue between Bernie and this guy who was completely lost on what he believes is taking place versus what's really taking place. I mean, he sounded like a Fox News watcher and a super conservative who just spreads lies. And I can understand, and I don't want to vilify that man and make it feel like his concerns aren't legitimate, but the things he was saying just weren't true. And Bernie tried to engage him in dialogue, but again, it's such a contrived, shortened moment. You can't even. There's no real dialogue there. So they're even at the end of their discussion, and they had a good back and forth. But even at the end of it, nothing was really solved. That dude probably went away feeling worse about the situation than he did before because there was no real dialogue. And that's my problem with stuff like that. Because here's the thing: I know you have to have things like that but at the same time, if you're not going to really give somebody a chance, I would rather have him and that guy talk for an hour on that specific subject, and then you get some real dialogue, than to try to cover 5 or 6 topics and only give only give each of those topics 2 minutes of discussion. You know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest problem with it. But what do I expect from cable news at this point? You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be what they're gonna do what they're gonna do. So, shouts out to Bernie Sanders. I was glad to see him continue to get a platform to express his policies and his views, because you know where Bernie Sanders stands, and I like that, and I stand with him. CNN, you guys can do a little bit better. Chris Cuomo in particular, I don't have anything particularly against you. I just wish you would do your job as a journalist and hold people accountable. Like, why would you even? Of course, Trump is a pathological liar. We all know that. But yeah, I'm still reading Bernie's book. As soon as I finish with that, I'm gonna do I'll do a quick review on that so you guys can see it, and I'll put it up. You know, I'm a Bernie Sanders guy, so I like to see that. So that's it for the channel. Until next time, I need you guys to like, share, and subscribe, and keep it locked right here on Mr. Von Channel Sweatbox. All right, y'all. Peace. Keep it 100.
With a spin, with a spin, with a spin, with a spin, with a spin.